I was so stuck on the idea of getting a job right out of college that I didn't even see what was right in front of me. I don't need to go looking for a job. I am the job. You have to take yourself seriously or they won't. That would actually piss me off. That would make me so mad. I've never had this conversation with anybody. Not only is this video for people who are going through the same thing or may have felt the same way as I did, it's for me to get some things off my chest. So from the title of this video, you've already probably figured out that I don't have a job. There are so many people who also don't have a job, and we're all just trying to figure it out. And I don't think we should be ashamed or embarrassed. Throughout college, I thought that I was going to graduate and get a nice job in a nice office, working on a good old salary and be comfortable. That's really what I thought. I really wanted to get a job fresh out of college and start taking care of myself, eventually move out on my own. And I thought all of this was just supposed to start popping off at least a year or two after graduating. And then 2020 happened, which also happened to be the year that I graduated. It was not like that at all. Actually, I was hit with reality. In that time, I had been scrambling to find a job, and it was very hard because nobody was really hiring. And honestly, my resume sucked. My resume was trash, if we're being honest. I didn't really know what to do, and that was a lot for me to figure out. And it sent me into this place of just uselessness and worry and anxiety. I did not know what I was going to do, y'all. I didn't have no money. I didn't have a job. I used to be a dance teacher. And since there was no more in-person classes, they became online classes. And then she didn't need all of these girls she had hired for online classes. So she stopped putting us on the schedule and yada, yada, yada. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been a creative person. I've always started little businesses. Even in middle school, I used to sell jewelry. In high school, I used to sell jewelry. In middle school, I used to sell duct tape pens. I would just make things because it was fun for me and people wanted to buy them. And I thought that they were worth buying. And so I always started businesses. I was just always a creative person. My favorite thing to do was make things. And I loved when people liked what I made. But more importantly, I liked being able to be creative. So in this time between 2020 and the middle of 2021, I was like, the only thing I know how to do is use my creativity to make something shake. And so that's when I opened my first Etsy shop, and I was selling templates that I made from scratch. During this time, I was still looking for jobs. I was still updating my resume. I had got some freelance gigs and I was putting those on my resume. Basically, everything that I was doing on my own, I didn't take it seriously enough to say, hey, like if I can do this, I can start a business or I can whatever. I was so stuck on the idea of getting a job right out of college that I didn't even see what was right in front of me. As my Etsy shop grew, I was getting a lot of experience in the content creation world from this freelance gig that I got. I still was like, okay, I'm going to put this on my resume instead of realizing that you're pretty good at this and you should do it yourself. I really got to a point where I was battling so hard with, should I continue putting my energy into applying and interviewing, of which I was barely getting interviews, y'all, to be honest. I don't know why it's so hard to get an interview these days. I was doing all that and I was like, should I just take content creation seriously? Mind you, I started my very first channel ever when I was 16. I can't remember if I was 15 or 16, but I was posting like shoe collection videos. I posted a vlog when I went to Georgia with my family. I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I quit in 10th grade or something like that because of, high school girl insecurities got to me. And I never looked back. And I just thought, I'm not good enough and I'm not the person to do content creation. And so that's why I was so stuck on working for somebody else and just getting a job so that way I could be comfortable. But the more I got in range of the content creation world and realized that I'm actually pretty good at this, I was battling so hard with entrepreneurship or comfortability. Here's the thing. I was constantly running from entrepreneurship. As a kid, it was fun and it was cool because at the end of the day, I was a kid. But as an adult, I was like, I don't know if I'm built for this. I don't know if I can actually really airplane. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I knew that if I were to build my own brand, start my own channel, and actually take it seriously, I would be under my own delegation. I would have to pick a schedule. I have to be disciplined. I have to do all these things. And I realized it was just me trying to avoid accountability, right? I'm really good at following directions. And if you tell me to do something and how you want it done, I can do it. And that's what I was doing with these freelance positions. I kept seeing myself as that type of person. But throughout this whole time, again, even during those freelance gigs, I had started my YouTube channel. I have another channel. It's an ASMR channel that I started in 2021. And I did it for fun. I remember the night that I actually got up and just made the video. I already had all this camera gear and all this stuff because I was into photography at one point. I've always been into content creation, and I went to college for media. So I was always into like cameras and stuff like that. I think it was July 2021. I was like, I'm going to make an ASMR video for fun. I got my sister. I was like, do you want to make an ASMR video? She was like, sure. So I literally turned on my camera and I just made a video, edited it, and I uploaded it like 2 days later. And if you go to my ASMR channel and you look at my very first video, it blew up. It took about 2 months to blow up, but it did. And I was taken aback. I was like, what? But I didn't see that as a sign to really start a channel and take YouTube seriously. You know, I kept posting on that channel and my videos were doing pretty well. And I started to make money from YouTube. Then once I had my Etsy shop, I had my ASMR channel, and then I had this freelance gig, and suddenly I was not broke. Was I rich? No. Could I move out and do all these things that I wanted to do? No. But it was something, and I was so proud of myself. And then I started having this battle where it's like, do you want to keep putting all your energy into trying to find a job and work for somebody else, or do you want to acknowledge that you got it going on and you can get better as long as you research and you practice and you just stay disciplined and consistent? You can build something for yourself. And this video is not bashing 9-to-5s or even working for somebody, because everyone's story and goals and dreams are different. But I think this whole time, or that whole time, I was denying the fact that I love creating the things that I want. I love creating content that people enjoy and that people can relate to. And I have fun making it. And I don't actually want a job. I don't dream of labor. I really don't. I would love the idea. And I feel like everyone says this, but now that I'm actually doing it, I truly believe it. I love doing something that I would have done anyway and get paid for it. Like I said, I started a channel when I was 16. I wasn't getting paid and I still did it. Right now, as I'm filming this channel has 1,256 subscribers. And, you know, 1,000 subscribers is the threshold to get into the paid partner program, but you need 4,000 watch hours. I only have half of that right now. And as you can see and look back on my channel, I've still been uploading. I still sit through those hours of editing because this is fun to me. Getting paid is a plus. Like, I feel like people tiptoe around that and like, oh, I love what I do. And no, the money's nice. The money's nice. And I haven't experienced any of that money yet. Like I said, I do get paid for my ASMR channel, but I kid you not, it's enough to pay one water bill or something. And I'm not complaining. I'm just being honest here. And so with this video, I guess I'm just trying to say I'm fully embracing being a content creator, because when I first started, I told some of my friends and they were like, how come you never talk about your ASMR channel? You don't really post about it on Instagram. You don't call yourself a YouTuber. Like, you always say like you're still looking for a job. They were very curious as to why I didn't actually claim the position I was in. And I don't know if this video is going to come out before the video I did on imposter syndrome, but imposter syndrome was a really big thing because I felt like there was something missing and I couldn't be a content creator or the person I wanted to be. And so when my friends were asking me that, I'm like, dang, they're right. Like, I really am trying to avoid actually doing this for real. So I went through a whole journey of just figuring out and being completely honest with myself about what I wanted to do. And the truth is, I don't want a job. Now, and that's not to say I'll never work in corporate or I'll never work for a company or whatever the case may be. Because the truth is, I got my business attire in my closet. Like, I'm ready when y'all ready. But no, seriously, I would love to work for a production company or a media company somewhere in the future, even if the future is like a year from now, whatever. I'm so open to that. But I think for right now, my constant chasing for comfortability in a job is just not there. It's just not there anymore because I finally become honest with myself about what I want to do. And I've never had this conversation with anybody. I'm just going through the motions right now as I make this video because this needed to be said, I guess. I honestly feel like being a content creator or working for yourself in general is very glamorized. And it has its reasons for being glamorized. But it's not easy. Like I always tell myself when I'm editing, I be on that computer for hours. And I'm just like, there's no way anybody who's just doing this for money or who's just doing this to say they do it can continue doing it. There are definitely some lows to this, but the highs to me outweigh. Another challenge that I was having when I was going through this battle of deciding, do I want a job or do I want to start my own thing, start my own business, be my own boss, right? A lot of people, I'm not going to say that. People do talk about it, but I don't think they really talk about it. So we're going to get into it. And this is no dig at my family. I love y'all. You're probably not watching this, but I love y'all. And I know they don't mean any harm really by it. But I will say this. Graduating college, y'all know everybody starts asking you, oh, have you found a job yet? Or what are you going to do with your life? And they start asking you questions about the future. And for me, because things already weren't working out how I thought they would, I didn't even know. They're asking me all these questions I don't know the answer to. I would just play it cool and be like, yeah, I'm looking, It got to a point where I started to get very annoyed, and not with my family, but just with the fact that I felt like, okay, I was already making content. During this whole process, I was already making content. My family knew about my channel and they knew that I was making money. But, I still live at home. I still live at home with my family. This is my childhood bedroom. I gave it a makeover, but this is my childhood bedroom. And because they don't see outward material things that shows that you're, doing it big, I guess, they don't take it seriously. And that's why I wasn't taking it seriously too, because I felt like the outward things weren't showing themselves. But that was when I had a warped idea of what that meant. So I didn't feel like my family took it seriously. Like even the family that I live with, and not just outward family, the family that I live with, I had to make time to make content or to plan or do something, but everybody needs something from me. And then people are making it seem like I'm just laying around on my butt all day. And that would actually piss me off. That would make me so mad when people would try to tell me that I'm not doing anything, so I should have time to do whatever they needed me to do. It's like, I'm not doing anything, but y'all don't even realize how much work this takes. And so that was taking a toll on me because I felt like people were not taking me seriously, and it was stopping myself from taking myself seriously. But I realized that it doesn't matter what other people think. You have to take yourself seriously or they won't. And even if they still won't, you still need to, or else the things that you want to happen won't happen. And so I'm in this place now where I take my stuff seriously. And I don't really care who does or not. I don't really care who has anything to say about it. I don't want to be the person that's in my own way, and I don't want to let nobody else be the person that's in my way. So there's that. And so yeah, family not really taking this seriously was a big thing. And I think most people don't really understand what goes into this. I think especially because I'm 25. It was one thing when I was 23 and I didn't have a job, but then you're 25 and you don't have a job. So it just sounds really bad to everybody. And it started to get embarrassing for me to say that I didn't have a job or that I'm unemployed. But then I sat down and I was like, you know what? I get a check every month from Google. Technically, I'm a Google employee. So if anybody asks, I work for Google. I work at youtube.com. I don't have to own the title as jobless or unemployed. I'm not. I make stuff shake for myself. It's me and God, actually. It's me and him in this partnership. And I feel like I'm truly embracing that, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm content with that. And I know that if I've made it to this point, imagine me later. I feel like the older you get, the more dire the situation seems, and we all start panicking. You know, when SpongeBob had to write that paper and he was in his head, everything was on fire and he was running around. It starts to feel like that because it starts to feel like we're running out of time, especially with all of these younger people hitting these great accomplishments. And honestly, that's inspiring. I don't want that to make me feel like I'm behind. I don't want that to make me feel like I'm less than. I want to be inspired by it. And it really does put a fire under my butt, but it also, it's not going to make me feel like I have to rush because I'm on my own timeline. I'm on God's timeline, and I know I have a clear idea of where I want to be and how I'm going to get there. And even when I don't know how I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there. I realized I was panicking for no reason because I'm so blessed to have parents that let me live here practically rent free. I only pay for a few things. I personally don't have that many bills, and I don't have any kids. I really couldn't even see the fact that I was already covered. I was already blessed. And a lot of people don't get the opportunity to be able to focus on their goals in a comfortable situation like I'm in. Like let's be completely honest. This is a privilege to be able to still live in your parents' home, not worry about where you're going to sleep, not worry about where you're going to eat. You know, you're in a safe place. And I honestly think I was looking past that. I was so in a rush to get out on my own and to start doing these things. And not that that's bad, but something that, my parents brought to my attention was like, you're young, you don't have any kids, you don't have that many bills. Work your butt off to get to where you want to be. Accomplish your goals and your dreams and make something for yourself. And you absolutely have the creativity and the brain to do it. And you're such a talented woman. And I really want to be appreciative of the situation I'm in and take this time to take my goals seriously. That's the least I can do, right? And I personally don't think I'm at a disadvantage, but for some reason, because of, things like my age, I thought that I was. And anybody who's 25, don't let the kids tell you that you're 30. Because first of all, there's nothing wrong with being 30. But when I turned 25, oh my goodness, the 30 jokes that my cousins and my family was throwing at me was crazy. Like, y'all trying to put them years on me that's not on me. One day I want to move out. I want to live in a different state. I want to experience different things. And I know I'm not the only one out there going through it. And I want to let y'all know, as long as you have somewhere to sleep every day and something to eat every day, there is a lot to be grateful for. And any plan that you have for yourself, I want you to go at it 100%. It doesn't matter what your friends think. It doesn't matter what your mom think. It don't matter what your daddy think. And even the thoughts that you have yourself, the mindset that you have yourself that's holding you back, you have to work through that and break down those barriers. Because there's so much out there for you to get. It's enough money out here for everybody. Everybody can find their tribe and find a community to connect to. Everybody has a purpose. And as long as you go at that honestly and with all the effort that you have, you're destined to make it. And I truly believe that. There's a level of delusion that you have to really do some of the things, right? I'm going to stay on the topic of content creation because that's what I do. You have to be delusional, right? Because it can look very bleak. The future can look very bleak, especially, if the numbers are low, you're just starting out, or maybe you've been stuck at a certain place for a year. It can look scary, but you have to have this idea that it doesn't matter, because there's going to be one day, there's going to be a video, there's going to be a piece of content, there's going to be a collaboration. There's going to be something that takes your channel or your content or your page, whatever it is, and your life to the next level. And I truly believe that. And there's nothing anybody can say to change my mind. This is so fun to me. This is so fun for me. Imagine how much fun it can be when you're making money to do it. Like, that's like people who like to play sports and then they get to be professionals and they're getting paid to play sports. It's the same thing. I'm just in a place where I'm comfortable with where I am. I've fully decided that I'm not unemployed. I'm self-employed. I don't need to go looking for a job. I am the job. The job is this. I had to get that out. I had to get it off my chest. Since 2020, I have just been on this crazy, like, frantic mission to get a job. And the job has been right here the whole entire time. I work for me. Okay.